More parallels have been drawn between the machine life forms and the Yora or the androids in general. I eat it up. I love it. I always love the parallels drawn between the two sides. But yeah, honestly, episode 5 of NieR Automata version 1.1a, at least I know I'm missing context. Like, I know I'm totally, from somebody who has never played the games, I at least know that I'm missing some context here. As we got to that tree, and I'm like, yeah, that's the face. I know what that face is. It's literally Yoko Taro's thing. But then, like, when he hacks into it, I see these characters that I at least know are from the previous games. So I'm like, yeah, I'm missing references here. Hopefully it doesn't matter that I don't know what that reference is going to be. It's obviously a thing of the past because whatever this thing is that's in the tree was created thousands of years ago by the humans, and it's somehow connected to these characters of the past, question mark. Could it be the past or the future? But at least I'm hoping it's not significant to know what that is, and that's just a Easter egg for those that have played the original game. But I don't know, maybe one of these days when I finally play the games, I'll know the reference, but hopefully it's not required from now. But yes, opening up this episode and the end of the episode, very interesting scene with Adam and Eve. I don't know which one's creepier. You have like the very held together but very stern person that seems to be the intellect, to Adam being the one that's telling Eve to, like, you do what I tell you to do. Or Eve, who is just super childish creepy. Which one would be more dangerous? I don't know. They both look extremely dangerous, but it seems to be implying that Adam is bestowing upon Eve that we need to do these things that the humans talk about. We need to read books. That knowledge needs to go, we need to read it directly so that it goes to our heart. We need to eat these apples because obviously the apple is the fruit of knowledge. You have to eat that. Adam and Eve, you have to eat an apple. That's just how the story is told with Adam and Eve. Okay, Yoko Taro, just keep hitting the Genesis story, right? But the weird thing was the end of it. At the end of the episode, Adam specifically says, don't call me Nichan anymore. Call me Nissan. It was a very weird thing. It was because I think typically whenever you're saying Nichan, it's like informal, whereas he's saying say Nissan. So it's like basically saying address me properly. I don't know if that's like a stop being playful, start addressing me properly. I don't know if there's a context there, if I'm just drawing something out, but it just seemed very, very odd. But yeah, the rest of the episode was obviously going to meet the Machine Life Forms village, which I was honestly excited for because I have seen a brief clip of the gameplay in this particular section, and I knew that Pascal was Aoyuki, and I'm really happy that it was still Aoyuki because I absolutely love her voice. But I honestly was a lot more intrigued by the village itself than I originally thought I would end up being. I just assumed, okay, there's going to be, they've already implied there are machine life forms that don't want to fight, and so they would obviously create, you know, groups, and those groups would probably eventually evolve into villages and civilizations. But I wasn't really expecting it to sort of play out the way it did. I just assumed they would be a bunch of robots that don't want to fight, that are just yelling out random phrases. Wasn't really ready for something like Pascal, who seems like a long, long time ago, after thousands of years of fighting against the androids, eventually got to the point where it found this thing within this tree, has some sort of message that it got from it to live on, and returned to the battlefield and continued to fight, but eventually getting to that point where they realized they were afraid of their own death, but more so in the idea that they didn't realize how sad it was that they lost all their comrades. Thousands of comrades before them were dying, and he wasn't sad about it. And not only that, but also the idea that how apathetic they were to it and everything. That was what was scary the most to this robot, this machine life form. And that's what caused it eventually to hide away, create this village, and then thus disconnect itself from this network. Which that was kind of a question mark that I had for the longest time, was if there was going to be some sort of hive mind, a network that they all communicate through, or if it's just going to be NieR communication that they actually have. But it seems like there is this larger network of these machine life forms that they're communicating to, or at least getting orders from. And so they've basically disconnected from that and became this little community. But it was cool to see that it's evolving from just being like random phrase they're saying here. This thing has a full vocabulary. It has been reading so much from the humans themselves, and it's able to actually piece it all together. So it's actually holding all these conversations and instilling upon them these feelings that it thinks that it had or it could have. And that's the thing that's ultimately throwing 9Fs off so much. I mean, it does seem like a little bit jarring in the idea that we've just come from this scene where 9S literally went up to these robots and just killed them as they were begging. And then it cuts to this scene where they're going to this village of all these life forms, and he doesn't immediately draw his weapon, despite the fact they're all waving white flags. Now, we understand why, because then we get the backstory where Lily gave them the gasoline to take to them. But it was like one of those moments of, wait, why isn't he just immediately slashing all these things? Suddenly 9S is realizing, wait, these seem to be normal. They seem to be okay. But it gets into even more later on as you really do see 9S is conflicted because Pascal is technically saying the same thing he's saying. It's not that he's saying it yet. He's not confirming it yet. He's frustrated by it. Right now, he's just saying they have fought for thousands of years and killed thousands of these androids, tens of thousands possibly, and now it wants to give up and not fight? How selfish can you be? He's angry by it, that they've stopped fighting, and they're still getting the disputes. We see as they go back in the village, and there's a little dispute, and they're hitting each other, and he almost wants to hack them. It implies that he's going to hack them, possibly to stop them. Like, he doesn't want them to fight. Like, there's so much implied in this episode, it's not even funny. Again, he's frustrated. He thinks it's selfish not to continue to fight after it's taken so many of their men's lives. And then here, he sees that they're still fighting, that they still have disputes, despite the fact they've given up fighting. And then, again, if he was going to hack there, it implies that he wants to stop them from going back. So he almost like he is accepting them at that point. He doesn't want them to fight. He thinks this is a good thing. Again, if doing this is implying hacking, which I'm assuming it does, that's what he does every time he goes to hack, and then assuming that that's what he wants to do. And that's the thing I'm hoping that it'll eventually accept, or at least acknowledge from 9S's perspective, is Pascal's saying the same thing that we've kind of implied that 9S and 2B are going to be going through. This idea that countless of lives of their comrades are going before them to die over and over again. To what purpose? What does this all mean? What is this waste? What is this suffrage that we're going through? Should we even continue to do this? Pascal found the answer to that. Hide away, run away from it all, and recreate your own thing. Would 9S want to do that? Is 9S going to eventually be, I don't know, sympathetic to that or envious of their ability to do that? Because he might want to do that. I mean, a lot of the perspective of this episode is 9S dreaming of the day that they will no longer have to fight. They enter in the shopping mall area, and he's excited about it. He sees all these little trinkets the humans made, and he's thinking, it'd be so great if we were no longer fighting, because I'd love to come here with you. When the war's over, let's go to one of these shopping malls together. I will buy you a t-shirt. And that's what he's excited about. He's excited for them not having to fight. Excited to be able to just go back to normalcy that he doesn't necessarily know, which is kind of interesting. He doesn't know what's normal. He just knows this is something different. This is something different than just fighting and bloodshed. And he sort of, again, wants it. He wants that aspect, which we made a little cute little addition at the very end with 2B calling to archive the location. Okay, when the war is over, we'll come back here and we'll buy a t-shirt. It was super cute. A couple of other interesting tidbits. I love when they first left Pascal's place and she mentioned the idea that, well, if you want to know more, just go ask, go interact with the others and get an idea of what we're doing here. And it kind of threw them off in the idea of like, wait, does she know our mission? Does Pascal actually know our mission, that we're here to actually investigate these machine life forms? The interaction with the sisters was great too. The pods, we're going to destroy you in like 5 seconds. And they're like, no, stop. Don't destroy her. And an interesting little tidbit at the very end as well with the concept of how the machine life forms themselves still at this point can't technically live on alone. And it was sort of, yes, paralleling the idea of, 9S and 2B having to be with each other as well. And that's what the 9S totally takes in the direction of. So that means you can't be without me or something like that. But this idea that despite the fact that machine life forms have broken off from the hive, they're not isolated. They still need support of others. And that's why technically they're there. Lily sent them there with this gasoline that they need in order for them to continue to function because, yes, machine life forms still need fuel. They still need something that keeps them going. And that's what the resistance is adding to them. And if they didn't have that, they would not be able to live on by themselves. Technically, yes, just pushing heavily on this concept of you need the support of others to be able to live on. But yes, overall, great episode. Episode 5 of NieR Automata. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment. Let me know what you thought of the episode. No spoilers. I don't need to know about the previous games and how it connects to it. Just throwing theories out here. This is my perspective of somebody that has not played the games, trying to figure out the story, and I think it's super fun because it's a fascinating world. So let's just keep it at that. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure that subscribe button so you got my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, tips link, super thanks, membership button down below. Greatly appreciate everybody's support, and y'all take care.